Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and welcome back to another What's in the Bag, Jay? Now, this is a series where I pick 6 movies from my collection that I haven't seen, write their names on a piece of paper, draw 2 out at random, and do 2 reviews. Now, returning from last week is Summer of Fear. Boo? Dark Light, The Evil Within, and making its debut this week, School of the Damned. I love that cover. And The Divine Fury. Now, I'm going to give the bag a good tussle, and we're going to see what comes up this week. Alright, selection number 1 is The Evil Within. And selection number 2 is Summer of Fear. I'm going to sit those 2 movies aside while I sit the rest side by side by side. And I'm going to pick up my trusty Freddy vs. Jason die, and we're going to see what comes back next week. Four. Well, that's very simple. They all come back next week. So, I'm going to watch The Evil Within and Summer of Fear and come back with 2 reviews later. Well, I'm back. I just watched The Evil Within, and here are my thoughts. The Evil Within is a 2017 film which runs approximately 98 minutes and is written and directed by Andrew Getty. Now, unfortunately, he passed away on March 31st, 2015 at the age of 47. This was his only credit. Now, he had died 2 years prior to the film's release due to a hemorrhaged ulcer from methamphetamine use. I'd always heard that he had committed suicide. I guess, yes, you can consider this a slow suicide by drug use, but a little misleading. Anyway, now this stars Sean Patrick Flanery as John Peterson. He was in Hunter's Moon, Howlers, and a really fun movie called Lasso, which is a slasher movie, kind of, yeah, it's a slasher movie. And of course, The Boondock Saints 1 and 2. That's where I pretty much know him from. It also stars Dina Meyer as Lydia. She was in Saw 1 and 2, Starship Troopers, and The Unwilling. And finally, Frederick Kokler as Dennis Peterson. He was in Mr. Mom, Death Race 1 through 4, and Domino. And that's not the Mr. Mom with, well, maybe it is the Mr. Mom with Michael Keaton. I think it might be. He was a little kid, I think. Anyway. Now, this had a $6 million budget, and it has been in production since 2002. Now, basically, the director sunk his life and savings, I guess, into this film, and this does have an interview with him on the special features if you guys are interested. I did watch it, and I thought it was rather interesting. Apparently, one of his fears when he was a child was mirrors, and the way he described it was, is it really your reflection looking back at you, or is it some other dimension? Which kind of lends itself to the film itself. This, of course, tells the story of John and Dennis Peterson, I believe. Yeah, John and Dennis Peterson. And they are brothers. Dennis is a little slow. He has a mental handicap. He's mentally handicapped. And his brother wants to put him in an assisted living place, but he's kind of particular about the assisted living he wants to put him in, which you find out why later. He feels like he owes his life to his brother, and like I said, you find out why later. Now, Dennis is experiencing very odd stuff. His brother gets him a mirror and puts it in his room, and from there he starts having disturbing conversations with himself in the mirror, which lend itself to a whole bunch of very odd, very creepy dreamlike sequences that are very, very creepy. I can't stress that one enough. The director knew what he was doing, and I think he was pulling from his own nightmares when he made this, because, like I said, it's creepy. Now, this, of course, also stars Michael Berryman, which you see on the cover, and Kim Darby. Michael Berryman is really, really good in this. I can't really tell you what kind of a part he plays, because I don't want to give anything away. But this movie is very interesting. It's got a very odd dynamic, and I'm trying to think of how to explain this. You kind of wonder if it's all smoke and mirrors and creepy images and everything until the end. When you find out what finally happens in this film, I was floored. I had no idea what the story was, and it kind of didn't shake me, but it was just, it made me like the film that much more. It's very disturbing. So can I recommend this one? Yes, I recommend this one to anyone. I don't care if you don't like, if you only like slashers, this has something for you. The only thing I will say is I'm very sensitive to the killing of pets and stuff like that, and this does have some of that in it. Not enough to really put me off of the film, but just keep in mind that it's there. I always like to give a warning to people who are also sensitive to that. But yeah, definitely check this one out. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. It's a shame that the director is no longer with us, because I think he had a promising future in film. And I'll be back soon with a second review. Okay, I'm back with Summer of Fear. This is the one, of course, everybody wanted me to review, including myself, because I had never seen this movie by Wes Craven. Now, Summer of Fear is a 1978 film, which runs approximately 100 minutes, and is directed by the late, great Wes Craven. And this is just another instance of how great of a director he was. Now, this was originally titled Stranger in Our House. Now, unfortunately, Wes Craven passed away on August 30th, 2015 at the age of 76. He gave us such classics as A Nightmare on Elm Street, Shocker, The People Under the Stairs, and countless, countless others. The man was an incredible, incredible director. Now, this stars Linda Blair as Rachel Bryant. She was in The Exorcist 1 and 2, Savage Streets, and Hell Night. Lee Purcell as Julia Trent. She was in Valley Girl and Big Wednesday. And Jeremy Slate as Tom Bryant. He unfortunately passed away on November 19th, 2006 at the age of 82. He was in The Lawnmower Man, The Dead Pit, and Drag Racer. Now, this, of course, was Fran Drescher's TV debut. Now, I didn't mention her because she had a very bit part in this, but it's still Fran Drescher that we all know and love. She didn't quite have the whiny accent that we all know, but it was still there. You could tell it just wasn't as pronounced as it ended up being. Now, after a successful run on both NBC and CBS, it was titled Summer of Fear and released in theaters in Europe. It was originally called Stranger in Our House, which is a fitting title, but I do like Summer of Fear a little bit better. I can't really tell you why. You'd have to watch the film. I think that the title maybe gives away a little too much. But anyway, I digress. Now, this has a pretty interesting story. In the beginning, you see a group of people in a car, and they go off of a cliff and have a car accident, and everyone is killed. You come to find out that this is a mother, father, and a housekeeper that are related to our main characters. Now, Linda Blair plays the daughter. Her mother and father, the mother and father's sister, was actually in that car. They have a daughter that they hadn't seen in over 10 years. So, since she's basically an orphan now and doesn't have any other family, they invite her to come live with them on their ranch. Now, Linda Blair's family is kind of well off. They have horses, pretty nice sized house. You know, they're comfortable. So the girl bunks up with Linda Blair, and all hell breaks loose from there. Now, the older brother, she has an older brother and a younger brother. They were both familiar to me. I couldn't place the younger brother, but the older brother had been in several things that I've seen, and I'm drawing a blank on what they are now. But what happens is, the daughter that comes to stay, or the cousin that comes to stay with the family, starts taking things over. Taking Linda Blair's boyfriend, her friends, turning people against her. And she starts to think that there's something a little bit more to this cousin than she had realized before. That's about as far as I can go. Yeah, I don't want to give away anything too important. Now, I really enjoyed this. I thought Wes Craven did a fantastic job. There is one thing that I didn't like about this film, but it wasn't enough to get me to not like it completely. In the very beginning, when the car accident happens with the relatives, you can pretty much tell who the bad person is from the beginning of the film, and you're kind of waiting on the other shoe to drop for the rest of the movie. I thought they gave that away a little too early in the film, but there is yet a twist at the end that I actually didn't see coming. Usually I can see these things, but for some reason with this movie, I didn't see it coming. I really enjoyed this movie. If you're not a fan of TV horror films, or TV-made horror films, you should probably skip this one. Although, the original runtime on this was, I think, 92 minutes or 93 minutes. They added scenes in it for the theatrical run, and it became 100 minutes. Now, for those of us who, I mean, this is fine with me, this DVD. I really enjoyed it. While the transfer is not the best, it's an artisan DVD, but transfer is not the best, but it's fine for me. They did release this on Blu-ray. There is a company called Doppelganger Releasing that released a Blu-ray of this film. Not sure how the transfer is. I've never really seen anyone review it, but it is out there. And it's like, I think $13 for the Blu-ray, if anyone is interested. And that's on Amazon that I checked. It's a definite recommendation. Like I said, if you have a thing about TV horror movies, you should probably skip this one. If you don't like them, skip it. For anyone else, and all of you Wes Craven fans out there, this is just another instance of his greatness. Just a fantastic, fantastic movie. And since there's nothing to really vote on, I guess I will see you guys next week. If you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, peace.